Do you want to grow as a grower? Are you tired of being put to sleep by your educational growcasts? Are you tired of hearing about products you don't fucking want and can't afford? Are you tired of being told how you should grow? Hi, I'm Johnny Apple, and joining me is everyone's favorite amphibian, the Reverend Pirate Frog. Join us as we sift through the bullshit on the internet and try to get better as growers. This is Your Average Grow.
Hey, dude.
Hey, man, help me get organized here because I got a mess going on. I just brought the other 4x4 up after harvesting these headstrungs, and I need some help, man. I know we wanted to talk about getting seeds organized. Why don't we start there?
I think that's a brilliant idea, and I've seen the pictures of your amazing space, and it's not too bad. But I know your mind, so that's what scares me truly. So if I'm going to be a little hesitant to ask some questions because I'm afraid of the answers, but we'll get right into it. When you get your seeds that you've ordered online, what do you do with them?
I usually just open them up, take a look at it, see what came, make sure I got everything I ordered, and then put them right back in, put them in the crisper drawer inside the fridge in the lounge.
Perfect. I think that's excellent. Now, I think we can add one quick step. Write down either on your phone or in a binder or on a piece of paper what it is, who the breeder is, and how many of it is. How many of it there is.
So I was actually thinking there's a couple little like bead organizers. I was thinking maybe doing something like that, and as I get them, put them in that specific slot, and then keep that tray in, and then have it like 1, 2, 3, and then have it like a little chart maybe.
You could do that. That sounds pretty cool. I think you'll find that the difference between certain seed companies' packaging options will vary, and that gets a little frustrating. Unless you want to be fully chaotic, empty all of your seeds into the individual ones and just pray that nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think right now what I just keep them in their packaging in Tupperware inside of different bags with paper towels, all kinds of stuff, just to make sure that you want to keep them. If you want to keep them for a couple of years, right? You want to keep them cold and dry.
All right, now let's say long-term preservation. Should they go in the freezer, and how should they be kept then in the freezer?
Now, I can't give too much advice because I don't know if it's for sure the perfect way because I haven't looked into it and I haven't had to keep anything for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
But I have, in my own anecdotal evidence, a frozen vacuum sealed container, like it was a bunch of seeds put in Tupperware, or not Tupperware, but something like similar to that would be able to be vacuum sealed and then put in the freezer, worked for 10 years was my experience. The freezer is the best option, and I'm sure there's someone selling something that's overpriced. Don't buy it, but I think you can look it up. I'm sure there's an optimal thing, but if you're saving seeds for 20 plus years, like in your mind, you need these seeds in 20 years, I'd hope you do the minimal amount of research before you just shove them into a freezer.
Right on. Right.
But in the fridge is good enough for, I would say, most home growers' collection. I would say even probably keeping them out in like room temperature, dark, sealed container would be good enough for most home growers. But the fridge is good. But so you've got that going. So that's an A. That's more than I got ever in high school. Now, the next one is seed organization, which we talked briefly about that. I think the easiest way is to write it down. I've got 2 notes, right? I update on my phone, and then I have a written note at home that is in the same bag as the rest of them. I think that's good enough, right?
Okay, yeah, I got a little notebook I keep right here in the lounge. It does make sense to just write it down and keep track. Then we don't have to open them up and look.
Exactly. What you want to avoid is taking it in and out of the fridge often and opening it, right?
Right.
So just writing it down, like on my phone right now, I have every seed that I own is on my phone. Now it's just written like 5 Mango Smile or 3 of this or 2 or however many, but it's good enough that I'll be able to remember. So I think that's good enough for organization. I know our buddy Kotz is rolling his eyes right now because he's got that thing dialed in, and he's probably got it. He's probably so happy with it.
He's laughing. He's got a PDF or something.
Oh, I'm sure it's some Excel. Blah, blah. You can tell you and I both don't work in normal offices because we're like PDFs. I don't think you can edit PDFs.
Oh, yeah.
Anyhow, so that's good enough. And then your tents are organized by you have a blackboard, right? That you're just like one of, because I think you have something like 750 tents stuck in that room right now.
Nope. I do have 752.
There you go. No, but you have you one this tent 2, tent 3, or whatever you call them.
Yep, I got 5 tents. I got 2 4x4s, 2 2x4s, and a 2x4x4.
Yeah, it's a beautiful room that I can't wait to crash. I'm living there permanently. I haven't told you yet.
Right on.
We just got to figure out the wave pool situation. So you have that base. That's about all I do. In terms of what's in my tent, because I only have 2, so it's much easier for me. But I keep the dates of when I bottom water, because I'm in earth boxes, and top dress, or add something new if I'm experimenting, right? So do you do that?
No.
You keep it all upstairs?
No. I've only had this earth box. This is my first run with the earth box, so I've only bottom watered one time. Well, just the second time now, and I didn't really just take a long time both times, so I guess I didn't really care. I just was like, oh yeah, this seems just about as long as it did last time. Takes forever. I don't know. And then my other one, I just water every day with the same shit every single day. So it's like, okay, that's easy. And then my 3x3, it's just such a big bed. I water when it looks like it needs it.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into the chaos that is your mind. You couldn't pay me enough money. But I think that if you're feeding something every day, it would be impractical and silly to write it down. I think often people get obsessed with note taking, right? Like we had a conversation a little bit ago where it's like, if you had to write down every time you spritz the top of your soil, that would be asinine, right?
Right.
But I think there's a good medium way. Like I keep a notebook on every tent on the top, and I write down when anything I think of that I should remember in the future. Right? Because I forget shit all the time, man. I'm practically useless. But it's good to have it written down. And just for major things, like the first time I bottom watered, the first time in the earth box, I wrote down what day and then what day I did a second time. Because now, running earth boxes forward, I will know that that's how long it took generally, and that I had no negative issues with it, right? So if in that way, I never have that question again. But I think if you just start introducing more, because if you just write down some things, like for instance, how many gallons of water you put in that bed, if you can write that down so that in the future you don't second guess yourself.
But here's the thing, I'm just watering with the hose.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's but you can measure how long you water with the hose. There are formulas for that.
Right on. Perfect. I was just thinking of that today. I was going to take the hose, put it on the same setting I do every time, and then set a stopwatch for how long it takes to fill up to 3.5 gallons, because I've got about 70 gallons in each one of those beds. Yeah. So I could just use that and go to the stopwatch time and be done.
Oh yeah,
and be a lot more accurate than what I have been.
I think there's even formulas that if you time it for however long, you can just figure out how much water has passed through. But I think then you have to take the length
probably
of the
fill
hose
a gallon and
yeah. So, but anyway, that's awesome, and that's something that if you write down, now you know in the future. Now you know what your saturation point is, right?
Yeah. Instead of what were we talking about? See, instead of doing like that type shit, like I always do.
Exactly. And I think just go to the Dollar Tree. Get one of those 99-cent, or I guess Walmart probably has them, or anywhere has them. Those notebooks. The college ruled notebooks, the ones that we always got in high school.
Oh yeah, I mean I've got kids, man. I'll just take one of their shit.
That's well, it's hardly their shit when you paid for it, but
Yeah, no doubt.
but anyway, and just write down that kind of information. And I go back on that because there have been grows where I'll document a lot more because I'm comparing it to previous notes. But that's the only time I really want to or ever read my notes. Right. Ideally, you should only be looking at your notes to try and figure something out.
Okay, now let me ask you this. What kind of workflow do you have with like your watering equipment and your little goodies that you might add this time and your top dressing stuff? Cuz I have like a shelf and I do my best to kind of keep it neat and organized. Like I got a little scissor thing, but then the scissors end up on the table.
Well, I think there is no right answer to that because that comes down to just the person. I could make it as easy as possible not to make a mess, and you'd still make a mess. But
Do you?
I
Yeah,
keep
but do you use
I
like
keep everything
totes
on
and
no.
neat on shelf or?
So I have a very little like strange situation, right? Because I grow in my garage, but I have a patio too, but I don't have a hose. So I have to get all of my water from the shower and then haul it out into the garage. But so I have a very big garage though. It's not like a 1-car apartment garage. It's extremely long. In fact, I think the garage is bigger than my apartment.
Wow.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. But so I have a table out there. So I bring all my water out there, and I do all my I get my table. I have my Chapin out there, and I do everything out there. So I have to bring my water in, so I don't have to deal with hoses and stuff like that. So that does make it a little more interesting. Like now, but I think we found a pretty good solution. But all of my stuff is out there, and it's neatly organized because right now in earth boxes, I'm trying to find so much to do in the garden that everything's super clean, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think. What do you do for motivation to find like? Because organizing just is like boring to me. But then here's the thing: is like when it's not, I get enraged at some points when I'm doing something and I can't find something, or I left it here, and then I'm running all over trying to figure it out. How do you find the motivation to not do that to yourself?
Well, a couple of things. Don't forget, I have a very strange mind, right? So I like things in their places and everything logical and, no deviate.
But
Can't talk.
do you? Because you're such a fan of fucking chaos.
I love
You're
chaos.
Team Chaos will do. Oh, that's why we're friends.
I am absolutely team
You
chaos.
like to see the fucking chaos, just
Love
not
to
be a
see the
part of it.
chaos. No, I'm a part of it every day with you, unfortunately.
I
But
know.
that's just
Every
no,
fucking day.
I love chaos, but the best thing about chaos is that you try and control the things you can control. So if I keep everything, and to be honest with you, the only reason that anything in this apartment is nice and neat is because my heterosexual life partner makes me. So the reason that my grow is so nice and neat is because if it wasn't, I wouldn't have a life partner, but
Right on. Oh, that's how I ended up with my grow space, is because my life partner, my wife, was sick and tired of the fucking tents all over the goddamn house. And I was just like, why don't I just take the garage and make that the grow room? And she's like, yeah, I guess I really didn't even park the car in there this year. And I was like, sweet.
yeah, I can't even have, I mean, I can't even have a worm bin. But I am very lucky for the space that I do have, so I am not complaining.
And it's all about figuring out the space you do have, and I guess making
Organizing
it flow. Yeah,
exactly. So
I guess maybe it's just so
recommendation-
new to me. Is I'm just still trying to figure out the flow.
Well, you set up a entire grow operation. You set up an entire garage, moved your grow operation into there. Also set up a podcast studio recording area and lounge. So I think the messiness I can forgive you. So I wouldn't worry. But I think eventually people get into their systems, right? And
Right on.
I think instead of being worried about a mess, because with me, I like things being in their place, but that doesn't mean it has to be neat and organized. I hate organized, dude. I don't like haircuts. I don't like getting shaved. I'm all
It does.
about
Yeah, it
chaos. So
just needs to have a flow.
it needs to be, or it needs to make sense to the person using it, right?
Yeah. So
But
all
I
I
think
need
with
to do is
you,
you
need to pick up after yourself, motherfucker.
pick up the
But
fucking mess.
I mean, just fucking pick up yourself. It's not that hard. Anyhow, we don't live together, so we don't got to worry about it because we both hate my ass. I'm messy as shit. But when it comes to just writing stuff down, a lot of people think it's going to be wasted, and it may be, but you'll always be happy that you did. I've never written or like been like, man, I should write this down, written it down, and been like, damn, I wasted 5 seconds. I really wish I could get that 5 seconds back.
Oh yeah, right on.
I mean, because right now, like on my phone, like I don't remember when I said it, but on my phone I have 2 apps, right? I have the days counter and I have Jane. Jane is way more in depth, and so I stopped using it. I use the days counter, and all that's on my days counter is the day I planted the beans, the day they broke soil, the last time I top dressed, and then the last time I bottom watered for each individual earth box. And I think really that's all the notes that I need.
There was another app I had downloaded. I think I was gonna try and it was like Buds or something. Here's my problem: is my mind wanders so as soon as I'm gonna touch my phone, I'm fucked. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that right now. So I think I should probably start by putting the phone away when I'm in the grow space and just be in the grow space maybe, and
So
take
I
my
always
notes on actual paper.
I always carry a pen with me, right? So I always have a writing implement with me.
Yeah.
And so it always is second nature to me, but I just recommend a college ruled line notebook. Just buy every grow tent because like if you want to measure your plant, right? It's really cool to be able to compare this grow to the next one. And all you got to do is write down the date and be like, on this date, this plant was this tall. And in 2 years, if you grow it again, you can compare it and go, wow, man, that's pretty cool. So and
Yeah,
plus
I usually do
it's-
that. I take a lot of pictures and I just look at the fucking timestamps on those. That was my. I guess having a notebook would be a little bit better to have to go along with at least.
It would create a lot less work for yourself.
Yeah. Trying to
You know-
remember. Oh yeah, so on December 34, it
And
was
you-
8:83 a.m.
If you
and
if you get a notebook, you have to scroll past so many small dick pics too.
I won't have to, you mean?
Yeah, if
I
you get a
won't
notebook.
have to scroll through
what I said.
all of the
If
pics
you
Monster
get-
sends me.
Okay, I don't know who that guy is. Anywho, no. So I would recommend a notebook for everybody, in general.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm
And
gonna
I
try
don't-
it. I hope it turns out better than my labs, but I'm gonna go with your recommendation on this one, Padre.
I mean, if the recommendation is to write down your thoughts, can't take credit for that one.
No. To write down some notes. Writing down my thoughts is what I have this podcast for.
That scares me to no end. I think on the circle we'll have to go into it because Kotz has truly got this system nailed. And his little system with how it works for him, he's got it down. It's pretty cool. But
yeah, I got
like,
some stuff I definitely want to talk about in the circle too. I've been going down the genetics road, and Kotz is like a genius on the matter, so I can't wait to bend his ear.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. There's another guy on that show, but I refuse to mention him because his plants
he just
so
gives roids to them all.
Yeah. Did he just call them roids? What did he say?
Roids,
Yeah, the roids. Roids.
roid rage.
Friggin' Mac Attack Gardens.
I got some questions for him too. He helped me out recently. Gave me a tip on how to get my RO system like constant because I was always forgetting to shut the fucking thing off. And turns out there's a float valve that's pretty cheap to build your own. I built a little fucking tote thing to have water constantly, and it shuts off without my dumbass forgetting to do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you guys can listen to him coming out this month.
Yes,
But
sir.
before we wrap up, I still wanted to ask more about the. So when you finish it, I'm assuming you don't weigh what you've harvested.
Not since like the first time.
I mean, I always do just because I have a scale, but
I have scales, yeah.
you okay? Maybe they're not in the same room as you when you're harvesting them.
No, I just don't give a shit.
So why not just for science, like basic? Anywho, when you put them in jars and stuff, I assume you're like that's 2 or 3 ounces right there, right?
Yeah, I guesstimate that way, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so with that, why not just write that information down?
I
you
mean,
can
I would
compare.
if I had something I was gonna run
Multiple
multiples
times.
of, yeah, for sure. But like with autoflowers or something I haven't ran a second time, like I did that when I had a mother that I was keeping around.
Yeah.
I would compare grows to different styles because there was different phenotypical expressions, the different ways I would grow her out. But
I wouldn't recommend starting to keep notes just so that you can compare your like weights at the end of grows. That would be stupid. But I'm saying if you're already keeping notes throughout, like basic notes, like I've used this. I have the same college. Like I keep saying, I use the same notebook for like 6 or 7 grows now. That's how little information I put in there. But at least it's still more basically like just basic information that I can decipher.
right.
So that's all I would recommend on that aspect. Get all
Yeah.
your stuff organized on a table or in cubbies if you wanted to or something. I'm not going to spend money to do it.
Right. But what
if
you've
you-
already
if you
got,
if you get your stuff organized, right, you'll already be ahead of the game because maybe if you can have it organized where you can see it all, maybe you won't forget about it, right?
right?
And you'll also see, hey, I'm getting low on that. Like that's the easiest thing for me is I can walk out there and I can tell you what I need to purchase again.
Right. Yeah, that's why I was sitting here as I was setting everything up. I like looked at the open space above this mom tent that I got, the seedling tent, and it was like, okay, that would be a perfect little shelf right there, and it would just be open, exposed, and accessible. And yeah, you're right. It's easy to see everything that way, so that works for my kind of flow. I got a shit. It looks like I'm disorganized, but I guess I realized it's just a mess because I'm trying to build this 3x3.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
then, once everything's up here, I'll be able to get more flow and organize and put shit away.
I think you suffer from thinking too little of yourself sometimes. Your room looks amazing and it's not messy. Things just aren't put away where they're supposed to be yet.
I like it. That's
But I would recommend. So you asked me how to get more organized, and after this whole long-winded bullshit, I would say just write down some more stuff, dude.
cool.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Right on.
I think you can do it. Fuck, I can do it.
And let's hope Mrs. Apple can do it.
Well, if we're talking about for a beginner, that's a whole nother question, right? If I would recommend that Miss Apple follow So Sky High's method. Write down every thought that enters his head.
Oh, jeez. I don't think anybody's got that much attention to detail.
I love him to death. I wish I was that excited.
Yeah, I remember when I was and still didn't write down that much.
He'll have better flour than me probably, so it's all good.
Oh, no doubt. Dude, he's crushing it because he's
Yeah.
paying so well attention and trying to just getting focused on every single thing. Yeah, man, he's killing it.
So a first-time grower, my recommendation is to find the sweet spot on the scale between Johnny Apple and So Sky High's Neurotic.
Right on. Just have fun, man.
Just
Do
have
you.
fun.
Yeah,
There's
right on.
nothing wrong with it. However, I will say that's for a first-time grower. If you're writing down stuff, you're more likely to find your mistakes and correct them for the next time. And that comes from just me being a tradesman. When I learn stuff and I make mistakes, I always remember them better if I write them down. Because I'll forget a simple mistake in a year. I won't forget something big that I've written down.
Yeah. I'm trying to. Yeah,
Maybe
I mean, it makes sense. Like I remember
the-
everything big I fuck up,
Oh, absolutely.
but yeah,
small
like
mistakes,
my
you know.
little Johnnyings,
It's-
the big ones I remember. It's the little
It's-
ones that are probably compounding.
I remember crashing my truck. I don't remember, not filling it with gas before I got home. There's a difference.
Right on. Yep.
But so just find the scale that you're happy with. But my recommendation for Johnny is to just write anything, because I'm amazed he hasn't. And then for first-time growers, find where you're comfortable, but more information that you write down is the less information you have to guess on in the future. And for everybody else, do whatever the fuck you want, because I ain't your boss.
Right on. Try to, there could be people out there like me who don't have a big attention to detail or attention deficits, and
Absolutely. And they should do if they're
they
looking.
too need a frog lecture.
Exactly. If you make mistakes and aren't writing down, then you're relying on your memory to learn.
For
And
sure.
I take this certain medicine that seems to affect short-term memory. I don't know what it is, but it just seems to. So I always write things down.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, who fucking cares, right?
Yeah, there's times where it gets out of control and I've messed up some stuff, and yeah, it would help, absolutely. But who
Yeah,
does
I-
fucking care?
Yeah,
Just
I
do
mean,
what works for you, and I guess don't beat yourself up if it's not like whatever. I mean, fucking have fun.
yeah, and sometimes the chaos and the messiness is where you have the most fun.
Right on. Well, seems like a good place to end this conversation, because I got some soil to build.
That's right. You got to go fill that bed. We'll have to update everybody after the fact.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to finish doing that and then pick everything up and take some pictures on how I got organized.
I'm excited.
Yep, me too.
All right, brother.
Thanks, everybody.
Pleasant as always. Bye.
Peace.